Good evening. The time is now 6 p.m. and the meeting will come to order. We have 3 trustees, so we have a quorum. Trustees Otteson and Foss will not be in tonight. I'm not expecting our treasurer nor legal counsel. And we have our communication specialist. So public comment. Speakers will state or please state your name and your community and speak for no more than 3 minutes. Persons addressing the board are expected to observe a level of civility and decorum appropriate for a public meeting. No public attacks or disruptions from the audience will be tolerated. And for this particular meeting, it is requested that speakers address only budget-related topics. Again, it is a budget hearing. So we have a list of the people wishing to speak. First person I have is Deborah Rose.
You don't have permission to be filming me. Good evening. When I looked over this board's draft budget for fiscal year 2026, I was reminded of a bit of wisdom attributed to David McCullough that I think this board could benefit from hearing. He said, quote, "Climb mountains, not so the world can see you, but so you can see the world," end quote. Essentially, McCullough's message is intended to encourage people to pursue achievement for personal growth rather than external validation. Climbing mountains, whether literal or metaphorical, is not about impressing others by seeking to impose one's personal values upon them. Rather, it is about expanding your own horizons, gaining perspective, and deepening one's understanding of life and the needs of other people. The true reward for your time sitting on this board, writing budgets, and policies lies in how the journey changes you, how it encourages you to develop thoughtfulness, kindness, and understanding. The value of your time on this board is not in the applause you receive from those who think like you, but in seeking to respect and to serve the varying needs of all CNN patrons. We also need this board to provide a service that is fiscally conservative, competent, and mature. Sandpoint is the richest library in the state with an annual budget close to CLN's at $4.2 million. They budgeted $10,000 in legal fees for this year, and they spent a mere $160 for legal costs. You budgeted $60,000 for legal costs in this upcoming budget, and you've already spent almost $40,000 on legal fees for this year. In summary, the actions of this board has resulted in a massive waste of taxpayer dollars. As public servants, your most valuable trait would be a judicious sense of service to all others, not in denying access to intellectual information, as is the current situation with hundreds of books taken out of circulation, locked up in the director's office. We paid for those books, they belong to us, release them. But the CIN majority moved to divorce themselves from the tyranny committed by this board. The cost and ramifications have been great to CLN patrons. We expect and deserve better from our public servants.
Thank you. The next speaker is Michelle Lippert.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate Director Walter's statement about increasing the collection, but with the dissolution of the CIN, this isn't optional, it's urgent. CLN patrons have lost access to tens of thousands of books and digital resources. Yet the draft budget slashed the physical materials line from $305,000 to as little as $143,000. Excuse me, $305,000 and $143,000, whatever. Okay, you get the point. It's a 53% cut. You cannot claim to grow the collection while gutting its funding. That's not leadership, that's spin. Let's be clear, this is also about accountability. Will taxpayer dollars be spent to serve the whole community, follow library best practices, and remain ideologically neutral? Or will they be used to enforce one political agenda? Recent actions point to the latter. Of the 19 books challenged under Idaho Bill 710, 13 have simply vanished from the catalog against board policy. 3 more are mysteriously checked out in every copy, all with the same due date. Over 140 other titles, none of which have been challenged under Idaho Code, are locked away in the director's office, inaccessible to the public. I've had holds on 2 of those books for weeks. These are taxpayer-funded materials. Removing and hiding them without transparency or policy is censorship, plain and simple. And if this is how you treat the books we already own, why should the public trust you with $1 more to buy new books? If you can't be trusted to protect the books we already have, you have no business deciding what our community reads next. Thank you.
Thank you. I should have mentioned when we were taking roll call that the director is listening in on the meeting. He's tuned into the owl here, so just so everyone's aware of that. The next speaker we have is Mary Riggs.
Good evening, I'm Mary Riggs. I reside here in Post Falls and I use the library on a regular basis. And I recently was looking at my tax statement and I see that I pay a mere $40 to the library. And I just like to say, as a taxpayer, I would very much like to get more tax money to make more books available. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have scheduled is Teresa Burkett.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Burkett and I live in Post Falls. While I often find myself at odds with Mr. Ploss, I find common ground with his statement from the recent meeting on July 28th regarding the unimportance of district offices in comparison to the pressing needs of our community. There is an alarming amount of underutilized space in Post Falls that could easily accommodate an expanded community collection. It appears Mr. Walters is more inclined to allocate funding towards renovations that serve his preferences rather than focusing on enhancing our community resources, especially in terms of the collections you offer. The district has indeed received some bequests, yet prioritizing the establishment of district offices over the needs of the community seems not only short-sighted, but outright absurd. Furthermore, I want to highlight the $228,000 that remains unspent from ICREM, which is specifically designated for collection development. It is puzzling to see that the current draft budget does not incorporate any of these funds for their intended purpose. Regardless of how the board decides to allocate the ICREM funds from GL 480, whether it be $60,000 or $163,000, the budget line items for collections, specifically 610 and 612, remain unchanged. Mr. Walters has mentioned the necessity of compensating for the dissolution of CIN by acquiring an additional 27,000 books. However, I struggle to see this reflected in the proposed budget. The budget allocation for new books has increased by only 50,000, while we also see a reduction of 50,000 in the electronic collection budget. This raises questions. Are we to believe that acquiring 27,000 books will only cost 50,000? It is truly reasonable to expect the ICREM funds to go unused in 2026. These funds represent taxes that our community has already contributed, and you must provide immediate access to all books lost in 2024. In conclusion, it is imperative that every dollar received in funding is transparently accounted for in this budget. Our community deserves clarity and prioritization of our collective needs over administrative expenses. And I'm really sorry that Mr. Ploss isn't here because he doesn't believe that all of us are taxpayers, even if we didn't vote for him. We are taxpayers and we pay for this library. Thank you.
Thank you. The last speaker I have signed up here is Summer Bushnell.
Try to be short and sweet. I'm kind of in the middle on this budget. I would disagree with statements that are implying that there's tyranny in the budget. I personally think like dealing with finances and tax law is like the seventh level of hell in terms of math, and I really like math, so I don't begrudge you guys all these decisions and budgets you have to do. I do appreciate that you guys are following Idaho law, and I do see that in some areas of the budget where I wish like the legal stuff was lower, but I understand some of the reasons why you've had to do it, or you might want to have to do that in the future. I would prefer to not have an increase in taxes, but I hear what some of the other speakers were saying. I do want an expanded collection, so I'm kind of on the fence about that because I see the need for it. So I will support your decision as a group, whatever you do. Good luck, and I'm sorry you have to deal with all this.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that may have arrived and did not sign in or wish to speak? If there's still time allowed. Okay, I don't hear anyone else. So, my script here. Down to agenda item number 4. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Trustee Robinson.
I just want to say a extra thank you for everybody that came out to either speak or support somebody that is speaking. And just general thank you for your opinion.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, it has been moved. It's been moved to adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.